After President Uhuru Kenyatta officially launched the Directorate of Criminal Investigations Forensic Laboratory, whose construction began 2 decades ago. The ceremony held at the DCI headquarters in Nairobi today saw the much-touted laboratory start operations immediately. The 10-in-1 state-of-the-art lab will see crimes from murder, robbery, cybercrime to rape solved scientifically in record time. Hassan Mugambi takes us inside the DCI Forensic Lab.
The DCI Forensic Lab, a 10-in-1 state-of-the-art facility, only one in Eastern Central Africa, is expected to go a long way to fast-track investigations of serious crimes, including terrorism, murder, robbery with violence, cybercrime, rape, among others, besides unraveling cases, some of which have been difficult to crack in the past. The Director of Forensic Services at the DCI, Joseph Mugwanja, says Kenyans will no longer have to go abroad for forensic services.
In particular, when we used to have cases of sexual offenses, some murder cases, we could take samples to South Africa, UK, and other countries. But going forward, we have the capacity to at least carry out all necessary forensic analysis of all the exhibits which are found at the scenes of crime.
Forensic science has come a long way in solving crime and putting criminals behind bars in the country. For instance, whenever there is violent crimes involving guns, ballistic examination is conducted on the firearms to place the assailants in the scene of crime. But just how does that happen? We get into the ballistics lab and a test is on. This is a bullet head recovered from a crime scene in Baringo. The case is active in court and detectives here have positively matched a recovered bullet head from the scene of crime to a firearm found in the possession of an accused person. Commissioner of Police Johnston Mongela, who is the head of ballistics, tells us how this happens.
Every firearm has a story to tell. And the story to tell is in the outside of the firearm and in the inside of the firearm. In the outside of the firearm, you will have the serial number. In the inside of the firearm, it has unique characteristics which it imparts to those ammunition components it fires. And these unique characteristics are microscopic in nature.
When both the firearm and the bullet head have been recovered, the ballistic experts then carry out a test fire to match the round fired to the round recovered to establish whether they were discharged from the same gun.
So using our database, we are able to advise investigators that a particular firearm is operating within Nairobi, within Thika, within Kiambu, that same cartridges or same bullets which are collected from crime scene are being fired by one firearm. And over the years, we track that firearm until it is arrested anywhere in the Republic.
In addition to the microscope, the lab has a more accurate and faster digital way of matching the bullets. This technology matches and immediately prints the results. Among the 10 game-changer labs are the chemistry and biology. Inspector Frederick Nyagudi and Police Constable Dr. David Kipkemboi are the brains at the chemistry lab, and they are tasked with identifying different substances relating to counterfeit products, whether food, cosmetics, or detergents. Toxicology examinations are conducted here.
When we're dealing with cases like a homicide or rape cases, there is that always contact between the victim and the perpetrator. So you find out that there is always exchange of fiber. So what normally happens when you get to a crime scene, you get a fiber, you collect it. Maybe if you have a suspect, you can also get a fiber from there. For example, if you get a fiber is blue, another one is blue, you cannot just conclude that because it is blue and I've found you with the blue, so you are the perpetrator. This fiber, the dyes might be blue, but the components are different.
And here, this is the sample where you place your sample here, and then we have a light source which is an infrared, and then it will pass through spectroscopic arrangement inside here before it goes to the sample and go to the detector, and it will be printed out as you can see here. So these are the spectrum of our sample. And so this machine is basically important in handling cases of counterfeit organic products.
It uses spin column.
From the chemistry lab, we head to the forensic biology section, and here Joshua Mutua, an assistant superintendent of police, is the chief scientist. He says previously his section relied on private firms and other countries to link or delink suspects from scenes of crime, but not anymore.
When the investigators are carrying out their processes during the investigations, they are able to exactly either link or exonerate a person from a particular crime scene.
Mutua says the DNA equipment here has a robotic arm to avoid human contamination of samples. He says with the introduction of a DNA database, investigators will have their work cut out, as they will not have to look for samples to match.
We just need to get that biological evidence, if it is saliva, touch DNA, blood, or another biological piece of evidence. We'll just come, even if we don't know the person, we'll just come collect the specimen, do the extraction, generate the DNA profile.
The fingerprint identification unit has helped nab the highest number of criminals in the country. And here, Superintendent of Police Protas Onyango says his criminal registry is a beehive of activity.
Fingerprints from various police stations and applications of police clearance certificate from all over the country, Huduma centers and beyond, they are brought to this section.
The Crime Scene Investigations Unit CSI are mostly field officers who visit scenes of crime to reconstruct the scenes. They too have been equipped and trained to do the most in solving crime. Superintendent Mwangi Gitau walks us through some of his equipment, from ultraviolet lights to markers and fingerprint and footprint collectors. The cybercrime unit is also expected to go a long way in solving crimes like cyber attacks and online fraud that has seen Kenyans lose millions of shillings. Cybercrime head Simon Kipruto says over and above the crime scene, his officers do sensitization to get Kenyans online more alert.
We visit schools, and we're also a big participant when it comes to safe surfing and child online protection.
With this facility in place, the only one of its kind in the region, forensic milestones are in the offing. Hassan Mugambi, Citizen TV.